What if your clutter could tell you exactly what systems your home was missing? Today, I'm in my friend Megan's bedroom and I am helping her take a look at all of this clutter and look at it as clues. She is surrounded by the same type of thing that most people's houses have, piles of things that were meant to be to-dos. They've just never gotten around to. We're not just going to clean this up. We're going to figure out what systems need to be put in place in order for this clutter not to return time and time again. So I hope you'll join me and tackle your own piles while we're doing this. Right away, we identified a couple of things that Megan can kind of be thinking through in the future. And one of those is that her tendency is to not open packages as soon as she receives them. And so we went ahead and put packages that she needs to open all in one place. She lives with her sister and she thinks it's really fun to like try things on with her sister and that kind of thing. And so that's what keeps her from opening things right away. So she thought maybe she and her sister could kind of connect on a certain night of the week where it's just a little bit more casual, and that can be a fun like try on night if she has things that she wants to try on. One of the things that we found while we were doing this is that there were a couple of bags from a trip that Megan had taken about 6 weeks ago that still needed to be unpacked. And so I just suggested that she use this as work time to just take care of some of these things that had felt overwhelming to do right in the moment. And I would keep moving and just asking her questions on some of the other things. Because later just kind of never comes with this sort of thing. And I think that's what creates the issue is that if you unpack the suitcase, it takes 5 minutes. But if you put it in the pile of to-dos, then you're looking at this pile that's like, a 40-minute or 2-hour project. And you think, I don't have time for that, when you did have time to just empty the suitcases. And so she's going to go ahead and do that while I keep moving with some of the other piles. We also gathered up things that were errands for her, so things she needed to return to other people, to return to stores, that she wanted to get framed, all that kind of thing went into a pile that ultimately went into her car for her to take care of later. And one of my big goals was just to get the floor clear because, you could hardly even really get to the dresser initially because of the unpacked suitcase and the other items that needed to be removed. So I just took it one item at a time and showed her each item. This was a bag of things that she had taken out of a purse when she went to a conference. And so now she needed to put those things back in a purse. So again, that went into her pile of things to go ahead and take care of right now. And she was able to get that bag repacked the way that she wanted it. She had these 2 boxes from Chewy that had some dental chews for her dog. And, she just expressed that the reminder time frame between when you can update your order or cancel your order was just really short. And so it was tricky because she would end up not being able to cancel it in time. And now she has bags and bags and bags of these things. So she went ahead and took the time to cancel her automatic shipments on these because she's got these for the rest of her dog's life probably. And this will just be plenty of those dental chews. But that's something that, sometimes auto ship is really convenient and sometimes it is totally creating clutter in your life. And you might need to adjust the frequency at which you receive something if you're noticing that you have way too much inventory of it, or maybe it's worth it to just let the pet food supplier be the storage place for that, and you could just keep one bag that you're actively using on hand, especially for something that's not like life and death as far as it being needed. So that's something to consider. And the thing about Megan is she really does have a place for everything, and she's very interested in organization and has places to put things. She just has an abundance of things. And so it is just a matter of finding a place for the abundance. And she thrives in the abundance. That's what she wants. She doesn't want to have less and less. She likes having more. So, it's just a matter of kind of trying to find a way that can work for her. So she had gone to a conference for work, and so there were several things that were like samples and giveaways and that sort of thing. And basically all of that had been sitting there for weeks, but it was really all trash. And so when you go to a conference, just like as you're walking out of the hotel, go ahead and put all the little samples and your name tag from the conference and all of that in the trash, because there's no need for you to take it home and wait a few weeks to do it. So that's something that, she's just going to be mindful of free stuff, because free stuff is always so tricky. It just makes you feel like you should take it, but really there's no reason for you to take it. If you wouldn't have bought it, there's no need to take it. So there's a book that she has that I'm going to go ahead and put where she keeps books, because that's something that she'd like to read. And so I'll add that to that area. And then there's also some laundry that is clean and just needs to go into this dresser. The dresser's pretty full, but I did my best to put things in there. And same thing with these dog bags. She was able to move a couple things around in this drawer and make space for the dog bags. And of course, if she hadn't been able to, then we could talk about, like, is there anything that you see in there that we could get rid of so that you do have room for them? But it ended up working out just fine. So she also had several pairs of shoes, and this kind of created a little bit of a need to just tidy up the floor in her closet so that there was room to put those things away. But she was able to do that. And then some of it was just clean laundry that needed to be put away. There were these straws that she wanted to run through the dishwasher, so I took those there. And so doing that sort of thing just really keeps this moving and makes it so that at the end, you've really truly made progress. You didn't just make a bunch of piles, because we started with piles. So we definitely did not want to end with piles as well. So she is moving on to the surface of this dresser now. And something that has been on this dresser for honestly years is this stack of gift cards. So Megan and I were having a conversation about, like, what would it take for you to use these gift cards? Like, does it just feel like they're too special to use? Are you waiting for a special occasion? Do you not have them with you? Do you forget about them? Like, what's going on with these, And she said she's not really a gift card person, and she has like a whole file system for them, but she just hasn't refilled that. And so I encouraged her to just like go through them, empty out the packaging, like take the little card things off of them, make some piles and see what she has and put them into her little system. And I said, if there's any stores that either like don't exist anymore or are no longer something that she would shop at, then that's totally fine. And that would be something that you can actually sell gift cards online secondhand if you want to. And so that would be a way that she could utilize those. Ones that have digital wallets, like I encouraged her to just go ahead and put all of her Starbucks cards into her Starbucks digital wallet. So now she doesn't have like 10 Starbucks cards to contend with. She also had this hook, and she had bought it because she wanted to hang the tote bags that were in her closet. So I put the hook up for her and then hung the tote bags on it. And that was a great solution and got those all off the floor. I didn't get distracted by this closet. I didn't think of all the ways that we could improve this closet, though that maybe could be a future project, but just went ahead and took care of just the hook. There was a moment of hesitation for her of, well, maybe I should do something to my closet, so maybe I shouldn't hang this hook. I just encouraged her, listen, it's a temporary hook. Let's just do some temporary results for now and it'll be fine. Meanwhile, still sorting the gift cards, because let me tell you, there was quite the collection. And she could just do all of her Christmas shopping from her gift cards if she wanted to. Then she did have this pile of to-dos. And this is really where we were able to identify a need for some like different routines and systems. And so she and her sister share a home, and they also share several expenses like groceries and, plants for their garden and cleaning supplies and that sort of thing. And so they just have this big square up where they have to figure out who owes who what. And they often do it for like months of expenses at a time. And sometimes it creates a lot of conflict. And so I just suggested, like, if you're paying each other via Venmo, every time you have an expense like that, just immediately request it on Venmo. And then your sister can pay it at her convenience. You can pay it at your convenience. And you guys can get it figured out. And it's not this thing where you have to like make sure that you stack all these receipts up and that you have to save the receipts. And then you have to make a spreadsheet of the receipts. Like, that's just so much extra work. It would be easier to just go ahead and quickly request it on Venmo. She also had a few receipts that she needed to reimburse. She had several things that were kind of special that she wanted to have framed, so we added those to the errands pile. And then there were also things here that I would consider to be actionable to-dos. So that'd be like things like paying an unusual bill, disputing a pet insurance claim, reading through a performance review, things like that. And so all of those things are important and necessary to do, but they're also not something that it's like, I need to do that every Wednesday or something like that. So she works an irregular schedule. She's a nurse. And so I suggested that she just think of a time when she could do it and not to worry about it being every week. Like she has kind of a pattern in her work schedule where she could do it every 3 weeks. And we found things from 2024, which is a year and a half ago of this video being recorded. And so it would be better to do it every 3 weeks and take care of these actionables than it would to leave them there forevermore. And the problem with piles is that the things that really probably needed the most urgent attention are at the very bottom. And so she really liked that idea of kind of creating a system where she would be able to be aware of those things. And now we are on to the infamous laundry chair and the items next to it. She had won an award and it was in this bag. And actually, the award had been removed, and so had everything else that she wanted to keep. And it was just kind of a little trash collection over here. So we went ahead and got rid of the trash and took the award and put it over, like the documentation for the award, and put it over with the things that she wanted to file with her performance review. And then got into this laundry. So there were a few things that she needed to iron, but everything else just needed to be folded and put away. And so I went ahead and took care of that, and she gave me some directions as far as where to put things. And that really cleared things up. We found a few more items that were errand items by this chair, and we put those with the errand things. There were a couple of donations, but for the most part, it was just some actionable items. And so Megan's big takeaway was to have a regular time to take care of actionable to-dos and not to let perfect be the enemy of good as far as progress there, to do Venmo requests instead of making big stacks of receipts. And then just if something takes just a couple minutes to do, just go ahead and do it rather than piling it. And that really speeds things along. And so I think that this was really very successful for her as far as being able to make progress. And you just would not believe what an incredible before and after this is. You know, we worked in here for about an hour, and I just cannot believe how much progress we made. We got the floor cleared, we got the chair cleared, and the dresser all cleared off. And so now she has a nice ready to go space with the things that she needs to do for errands in her car, donations dropped off, and she's kind of good to go. So I think that she's really excited to see how this system might work for her in the future.